I guess anticipated that Jack Viney was going to go to him, but today it's straight into the action.
The final game of round 15. It is Fremantle and Carlton in the west at Optus Stadium. And we are underway. Cruiser leaping high early, able to win it down, but Fife will get the first clearance away for the game. Bouncing ball up to McCarthy, but Marchbank got an important touch in there for the Blues. The kick lets him down a little, and it's out of play.
Looks like young Lockie O'Brien there on screen went straight to the wing on Brad Hill. That may be a close one, and on the inside you've got Curnow straight across to Nathan Fife.
Brad Hill been in ripping form over the last month or so in particular. Racking up plenty of numbers. Here's Tucker, just sending it forward. McCarthy into the action. Switkowski was clever to knock it down. Tried the handball over his head to Brayshaw. You can see the players slipping around. There's been a bit of rain about today. And Spoil put in. Murphy got there first, lost it. Tucker quickly, and the tackle lingered. And it will be a free kick coming back to Murphy.
And this will be interesting to just see how closely checking Murphy is with Brad Hill, whether or not he's been given essentially a tagging role or if he's going to play his own game.
Murphy just pokes a high one to the wing. Taylor made for Darcy. Cruiser made life difficult. Curnow, Switkowski in there. And cop some pressure. And Fremantle emerge with it. Mundy right into the path of Matera. The one-on-one with Thomas. Thomas will get there first. He's got some support as well. He went the long handball for Setterfield. England to try and wrap him up. The boundary line looming. And we'll win the day.
David Mundy had a short option with McCarthy decided. I think in the longer option was better given how wet and slippery it is out there. You already see a number of players slipping over. There's McCarthy. Liam Jones minding him this afternoon. He's gone deep forward.
Cruiser able to flick it over the back. Walters under some pressure from Curnow. Mundy in there. Walsh tackled hard. Langdon's kick smothered. Cruiser just hacking it off the ground. Well done by Dow initially. Blakely slips. Walsh won it. And Wilson gathers. His kick smothered. It's going to be a tough afternoon. Wet conditions. McGovern. His handball turned over. And here's Ryan, who took his time. Got to bump for his trouble. McCarthy trying to use the body. Spills back to Brayshaw. Pretty open forward line for Fremantle. Long ball in. Matera.
Well, it's a great mark. It was good work off the half-back line by Ryan. And I was really interested just to watch Brad Hill. As you pointed out earlier, O'Brien is with him. Murphy's actually gone inside and going, well, it looks like he's responsible for Mundy at the stoppage. But O'Brien didn't run hard with Hill, and it'll be an interesting watch to see how that develops. But this bloke is playing sensational footy. His last few weeks have been almost career best. This will be a good start for him.
3 goals in each of his last 2 matches. Brandon Matera, as he opens up the angle and around the body, gets the great start for Fremantle.
A great goal from Brandon Matera, and this is where I think he's improved the most. So he's right up here at the stoppage, and he recognises the ball's going to be won. He quickly gets on his bike and reacts to the turnover. He's the one who ends up marking this ball inside 50. And this has been his real strength this year. It's his ability to work hard, up and back, and that's what a small forward does. This time he beats his opponent, Daisy Thomas, back inside forward 50 and kicks the goal.
Yeah, good work there, Pav. And in the background, you could just see Lockie O'Brien playing Russian roulette, just fading off just in case Carlton won the ball. But Brad Hill's running into that forward line. I'd be giving him respect early in your career.
25th goal of the season for Brandon Matera. He's got the first one this afternoon. Out of the middle, Mundy gave it up for Walsh. The Blues can go forward. The kick is wide, though. Tough one for Silvani. He'll go just inside the boundary initially, but takes it over and will get the boundary throw in.
So it does look like O'Brien's the one going to Brad Hill, and Curnow, Ed, is going everywhere with Nathan Fife. So 2 tags, or at least 2 close-checking midfield ones for the Carlton Footy Club.
It's Fife and Curnow at this stoppage. Darcy able to run it down. Walters almost taken high. Mundy close to the line. Fife was out of play. Was able to keep it in. Langdon with a high ball up the wing. Plenty jostling, and Marchbank weren't able to take it. They'll switch things up, the Blues. They've got a man out too, so they can find some space here through O'Brien. He loves to gain as much territory as he can with each possession. It's a good delivery too. Casbolt presenting up. He wheels around, looking for an option, stabs the pass in too low, and Switkowski gets back to intercept.
He's an impressive and improving young player.
Yeah, really clean at ground level. You saw him earlier in the wet, handling the ball well, and on that occasion, as a high half forward, getting back into the hole.
An aggressive kick into the forward line. You don't want to turn it over there too often.
Walters, creative, releases Tucker. Up towards Brennan Cox, just palmed it down towards Brayshaw. Jones able to lock it up.
That was clever from Cox. I like him, Pav. I reckon probably could do just a shade more intensity when the ball is not in his area.
Yep.
But he's a developing player.
Bruiser wins it down. Walters with a quick kick off the side of the boot, though. And out of bounds on the full. Michael Walters been in great form. Was reported last week, but led off at the tribunal. You see this big hit on Luke Ryan by McGovern.
That's good intensity, isn't it, from your forward?
Absolutely. And that's the new strategy in footy right now. Tackle with your shoulder into the ribs. See if you can get a bit of damage that way. On display last night.
Luke Ryan still out there after that big hit. Here's Gibbons. He just goes with the barrel, gaining some distance, but Griffin Logue, who's had a really good return to football over the last couple of weeks, takes the mark.
And probably given the conditions, they've been coming in with a mindset, let's just get territory, but it's not as bad as we thought it could have been, and that led to be a smarter kick inside forward 50.
Yeah, there's a difference between just getting the ball in, but getting in with a little bit of composure.
Yep.
That occasion, not the right option.
How is it down there, Kingy?
Absolutely perfect there at the moment. There's no rain to speak of. I'm just watching Michael Walters stroll around by himself. He's been in serious form the last 3 to 4 weeks. I'd be surprised if they didn't put some time into him shortly.
Well, David Mundy, I thought struggled a bit last week for one of the few times this year, but geez, he started well. He's had 6 touches already.
Yeah, back into the midfield. Spent a bit more time forward the last couple of weeks.
We've liked that last kick back, but he certainly found a fair bit of it in the first term. Here's Casbolt, who's started forward today after being in the back line the last few weeks, and Paddy Dow emerges inside 50, and he'll have a set shot.
That's good ball movement by the Blues, and you can see just how clean you can take it. Once again, Casbolt just showing, continuing his good form at the other end of the ground.
He started really well, hasn't he? Great kick from Murphy. Luke Ryan just a little bit off on that occasion. Thought the ball might go in longer. A nice lead from Dow.
One of their focus areas today, Pav, is to have those short, sharp, low entries rather than bombing it in for the intercept markers of Fremantle.
Dockers with the first goal. Blues a couple of forays forward in the last few minutes. Paddy Dow can't take full advantage that time.
Well, it's a miss, but I tell you what, it's a pretty good kicking style.
Yep.
I know his kicking has been a bit of an issue, and you can see, it appears to me he's done a bit of work on it. He struck that really well, just a little bit of an alignment issue.
Wilson with the kick-in duties. Looking to set the Dockers up. High ball out towards Banfield. Back in the side this afternoon. Looking hard, Murphy.
That's good stuff from the captain.
Fife tackling. Murphy able to get it out. Setterfield. Back to Wiedering. Kick was touched off the boot. Will fall Carlton's way. Good pick up by Dow. Marchbank almost took too long. The kick, though's a beauty. And get it forward to Charlie Curnow, and he'll go back and launch. As he's been in great form himself over the last few games, particularly with 7 last time they played.
Great kick coming in, but Hughes just slipped over. We talked about no rain at the moment, but certainly slippery out there, and Curnow gets an opportunity.
Charlie Curnow is going to open up the angle here from 50. He's just going for that extra distance. Hooks the kick for a behind.
So right now, Kingy, the Blues are trailing, but they're playing pretty good football. Football good enough to make any Fremantle supporter just a shade nervous at the moment.
It's a nervous crowd, Jared. There's no doubt about that. I think it's a nervous coach's box too. Ross Lyon was worried about today, and rightly so. Carlton have brought their best so far.
Here's Fife winning the one-on-one. Banfield to Brad Hill.
Yeah, good defence, no one to kick it to.
Murphy was corralling him. It goes to Walters, who was backtracking. Petrevski-Seton with an important lunging effort there to win it for the Blues. Murphy ran into trouble. Petrevski-Seton back into the action. But he's collared by Hughes, and it's going to be a ball up on the 50.
Jared, you're right. Carlton had rolled across to the line of the ball much better than Fremantle forwards. So that's why Brad Hill had to take that kick back in the middle. They were defended strongly enough, but Carlton playing well.
They're pressing here, the Blues. Kennedy back for Walsh. slipping over his march back. Tough to keep your feet out there this afternoon. Murphy taking a ground. Walters didn't take possession. Kennedy got it back again, and then Murphy's kick out of play. Matt Fyfe was asking the question, but it will be a boundary throw-in.
Well, Fyfe's been busy. He's had a few touches, but he's laid 4 tackles, setting a standard.
Yeah, he's trying to get to another midfielder as the boundary umpire and field umpire decide to throw the ball in. Crowd not too happy with that one, but plenty going around the bowl. Fyfe trying to get to Walsh or Petreski-Seaton just to try to mix it up.
Darcy, Cruiser lock up in the ruck. Petreski-Seaton's handball taken by Hill. And there's some space in the middle of the ground. Oh, the two Dockers collide. Bewley and McCarthy went into each other. Switkowski put his head over it to try and win it. It's not coming out. He's in trouble. Holding the ball. Driving on top of it, locking it in. Here's Plowman. Inside 50 go the Blues. Ryan the spoil. Langdon trying to hack it out of there. Picked up cleanly by Walsh. Thomas tumbles one. Silvani couldn't take it cleanly. Ryan right with him. Hughes puts the head down. McCarthy off a step. Just high one. Blues have got the numbers. Jones in the air, so good.
Great mark. Fantastic mark from Jones. Right on top here.
They're missing since round 7 with concussion. Good pressure on him there. The Blues have still got it. Marchbank wide. Fyfe territory, and he juggles the mark. Brilliance from the Fremantle skipper. Outmarking 2 there, Nat Fyfe. He just hangs in the air so long. The kick was intercepted by Wiedering, who takes a more conventional but a good mark all the same. Here's Setterfield. And he launches long. Good entry again. Curnow presenting, handling the spoil. Big bump by Hughes, and he might have hurt Curnow there as well, who's clutching at his knees. He goes to the ground. That could be a blow for the Blues. Here's Hughes. Switkowski. It opens the door. Walters feeds it inside now for Bewley. Curnow coming from the ground. The kick wide for Langdon. Fremantle building, but the entry poor. Setterfield hacks it away, but he gives it straight back to Bewley. On the boot again. Blues with the numbers. A bounce important. It rolls end on end, and Newman can see it over the line.
Well, Curnow's gone to the bench. David King will obviously be right on top of that. But what Carlton are doing really well at the moment is outnumbering Fremantle when the Dockers go forward. They've been lots of numbers at the fall of the play.
Hamling, clever spoil, hit it in the direction of Wilson. Darcy spots up Bewley in the middle. Long kick in towards McCarthy presenting.
That's a great marker. Right now, every Blue supporter is holding their breath until you give us the report or we have a look at what they're testing for, because he immediately got up and came straight off the ground. Something was amiss. Let's hope it's on the very lesser side.
Let's hope it's a corky. There was a big clash of bodies, of course, we saw it, but let's hope it's nothing too sinister, hey?
Charlie Curnow with the trainers at the minute. In the meantime, it's McCarthy. Has it got the distance? It does.
Well, it's a great start by Cam McCarthy. He's just attacking the ball. He's body lining the ball, and I think he was given a fair bit of assistance on the goal line with a pretty handy shepherd.
Yeah, Brendan Cox, I think it was, on the line, did a great job. Good kick coming in from Bewley, and then the ability to absorb.
That's a good mark, isn't it?
Yeah, absorb that body pressure from Jones. Jones was right there, but that's a classy mark, and from 53 metres to go back, do the job. So there it was, the contact, both players going low.
All the force going through the knee there of Charlie Curnow. We'll update you when we can on how serious that injury is, but a real concern there for Carlton, their young star off the ground at the moment. Fremantle have kicked the first couple of goals of the game. Here's Chera releasing the kick to Banfield. And Wiedering plays it well. No, free kick over the shoulder.
Two of the inclusions today. Chera, class act, and well, Banfield's had to work his way back into the side.
Up to McCarthy, the other inclusion. Switkowski's kick. He didn't shoot towards goal. He went instead for Langdon, who chips it back. That won't be the 15 for Matera. He has to play on. The Blues can take it out of defence. Fisher got it to Walsh. And up for Gibbons.
Another example of players wanting to give it, but if they're not 15, you've just got to burn your opponent or burn your teammate and find another option.
Gibbons didn't hit the kick all that well. It allows Fremantle to win it back. Blakely sending it in. Newman. Go for a kick against Matera, and then hacks it towards the goal square. And he needed a very good bounce from there. And Wiedering can get back to mop things up.
He's been inventing kicks magnificently the last couple of weeks.
Well, that wasn't an inventive one from Wiedering. Gives it straight back to Matera. What can he invent from there? And he out of bounds on the full.
Great defence there from Michael Walters. He didn't rush into Wiedering. He made Wiedering make the decision, and in the end it was almost a turnover. Smart footy from the Dockers star forward.
A bit of shepherding going on the mark, it would seem, from Newman. So Thomas will have to reset. Fur fans enjoying it down there behind the goals. Their side off to a good start here. We'll go back inside 50 again. Chera, Hughes, they'll backtrack a long way and retreat even further all the way back to Ryan.
What would you like there, Pav? Would you have preferred that Chera came inside because he wasn't under pressure rather than going all the way back?
Ideally, but I think the plays worked out. The ability to get the ball back through the corridor.
He found an option through Tucker. Inside 50 they go again. A bump from Matera, and he's given away the free kick to be taken by Daisy Thomas.
Amazing, the umpire 10 metres away side onto that, thought it was okay.
Kennedy, Casbolt. Pushing from Gibbons, trying to work Chera underneath it, who played it well. Brendan Cox to Langdon. Up to half forward. The kick was a beauty onto the chest of Walters, who stabs it in short to McCarthy. Tough to trap on the half volley. Jones there applying the pressure. Newman took the contact, threw it out over the line.
Maybe he got his fist on it, looked like a shovel. I reckon Michael Walters just needs to take a little bit of gas off some of his kicks. I mean, it's not an exhibition game. This is just get it to your teammate. It's wet and it's slippery. We know he's a star, but he doesn't have to prove it with every kick.
Asbolt winning it down in the ruck. Strong stuff from Conker to wrap up Kennedy.
Charlie Curnow still down in the rooms. We're hoping to get an update shortly from the club. So unsighted at this stage, Jared. What do you think, as a physio, what do you think the area of concern would be?
Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, it was a big clash, so it could have been a bit of a PCL stretch, or it could have been just a serious knock. I mean, it could be, you know, some bone damage or
was
the
it
medial
medial?
ligament.
Yeah.
You know, there was a couple of issues there. We'll have another quick look at it.
That looks like medial more than anything from that
there was certainly a valgus stretch on the inside, so that'd be the one. He knew something was wrong straight away.
So much force going through the outside of the leg, and his foot was planted. So you think, as you said,
We get a blood rule in the meantime for Brandon Matera. Cut to the elbow there, but certainly for the Blues to see Charlie Curnow has been in such great form go down. We hope it's not too serious, but we'll update you as soon as we can. Brendan Cox in the ruck.
Ultra defensive game right now, Pav. There's very little free ball movement. Not one side yet has gone from D50 to forward 50. So defence at a premium, as the scoreboard suggests.
It's an awkward spoil by Logue, but it was effective to Bewley. They're all up. Newman, Fife weighted down for a change, and he tumbles the ball towards the goal, but it's behind.
he released that ball so quickly, Nathan Fife. He actually had a bit more time to kick a drop punt. It ended up being more on the outside of the boot. Great front square. Crum pushes Marchbank in. See that? Tries the outside. Probably had a bit more time just to go the traditional drop punt.
I think he was thinking of Jason when he kicked it. And this time it's Fremantle's time to have territory, win the inside 50 battle and waste a few opportunities. Carlton have had their chance at it. You just see there the dominance that Freo have had in recent time.
Asbolt knocking it back to the boundary. Mundy goes down a little awkwardly there. Dockers veteran. Got to knock on the way through.
Now the Blues have got one up, extra up at this stoppage. Now they've evened up the numbers.
Asbolt with strength. Freo come up with a Tucker. Langdon. High ball in. McCarthy and Jones are wrestling. Banfield controls it. Walters' kick was touched off the boot by Wiedering. Spills to Setterfield. Just struggling to clear it out of their defensive 50 at the moment, Carlton. Gibbons under pressure. Out of play. Boundary throw-in.
Generally speaking, though, Jared, you talked about Carlton having an extra number into that stoppage, but once they do get out of the defensive 50s, it's a 6-on-6 game. Not too many loose numbers. Fife playing at full forward right now for Freo. They'd love to get it in there one-on-one.
Darcy and Casbolt lock up. Fell a little short of the ruckman. And Curnow. Kennedy. Murphy. Another high ball, and Chera plays the safety, sends it straight to the line. Matera, that arm patched up after going off with the blood rule. He's waiting to come back on. It's one of Freo's 2 goals to start this match. Blues with just the 2 behinds as they try and surge forward again. Ed Curnow sends it up. Silvani, though, couldn't hang on.
Just getting an edge at the moment in the contested element of the game. Contested possessions overall, they're well on top. Clearance numbers, they're significantly on top. And I mean, given it's a wet day, ground ball's going to be even more important, and they're +10 at the moment.
Bonker. Tucker. He's found a bit of the footy in this first quarter. Offhand, Switkowski trying to release Fife. Ed Curnow for company, almost took it away. Marchbank. Kick up the wing towards Darcy. Off hands. Blakely in there fighting, as was Walsh. Chera desperate. He's able to dislodge it. Towards the boundary line they go again. Bewley is happy to see it over.
So with Curnow off, Charlie Curnow, it looks as though Jack Silvani's gone a bit deeper. He and Mitch McGovern are the 2 forwards in the bottom of your screen there who are playing deep forward. Casbolt also down there at times, but they're the 2 main ones with a lot of smalls. You've got Dow, you've got Fisher, a few others, Gibbons, of course. So they've restructured, they've had to. The problem is, since he's been off, they haven't had the opportunity to get the ball in there. It's been really in Fremantle's half, but that's the way their forward line looks right now.
They're going to find another gear here, the Blues. They're lucky to be still in touch. They're dominating at the moment inside forward 50.
Marchbank almost. Jones, handball. Tucker. Kick smothered. Casbolt runs into Brayshaw, throwing his weight around down there, but Freo up to the challenge. Banfield's tackle was good. Ball still alive. Threatening to tunnel ball out the back. Does spill to Thomas, and he can chip it in short. And Ed Curnow, skipper for the Blues for the first time this afternoon. His brother off the ground with a knee injury in this opening term.
Seem to be switching the ball a fair bit more under David Teague.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make the field, as most teams do, big and stretch, both wide and long, so they can create pockets.
Plowman kicked into the man. He was working the mark in Walters. Fremantle backtracking again, but it's a great kick. Mundy.
He could go the distance here, Pav.
I reckon it might just be beyond him. He'd be right on his limit.
Logue was trying to run around the back for the handball. Mundy goes in towards Fife. He's the man.
That is superb, because that's the whole situation. Mundy v anybody in a one-on-one is going to be tough to beat, but it was a perfect kick.
It was the kick that made it. You could see Fife drifting forward. He looked to go pretty quick, David Mundy, but it was the ability to put it to his advantage. He's such a strong and powerful player, Nathan Fife, but the kick just suited him beautifully.
So Nat Fife, a shot at goal. There's a good way off the boot. The Doctors have got the first 3 of the game.
Well, they've been really dominating territory in the last 10 minutes or so. And Ross Lyon, he wouldn't feel comfortable, but I reckon he'd look at the scoreboard and say, well, at least we're getting a little bit of reward for the effort that we've had. And it started with that smother from Michael Walters. This is much better Michael Walters. This wasn't looking for the gold star. It was just hitting the target. Didn't have too much sizzle on it, just landed it.
Great display, being able to protect the space, push off your opponent, then come back at the ball.
7th goal of the season for the number 7 for Fremantle. Nat Fife, and you see the inside 50s racking up there for the Dockers, and they lead it by 18. Just under 4 minutes to go. By getting in the road. Brad Hill after the football. Well done by Fisher.
And I guess, Jared, that's the counter argument that David Teague's been coming up with. when challenged about why he hasn't tagged the opposition's best midfielder, when Nathan Fyfe's so big, he's got such a strength advantage on Ed Curnow. If he goes forward, the handover is simply impossible to get done in that matter of time.
All over the back this time to Ruckman. Go back to try and find it. Walsh wrapped up and we'll get a ball up.
You've got Murphy and Mundy next to each other, Curnow and Fyfe, and Walters and Walsh. Good matchups in there.
Ed Curnow able to win the one-on-one that time with Fyfe. Caspot up to meet it, picked it up well. Griffin Logue gets a round of applause.
Have you seen Griffin Logue's re-emergence into the team?
Yeah, very impressive. He's a couple of weeks ago here against Port Adelaide, he was outstanding, and then last week he definitely had some moments against Melbourne, so he'd be pleased with his efforts on return.
Well, spotted by the umpire off the play is another free kick to Nat Fyfe, holding from Ed Curnow, who's playing that tight tag.
Had the opportunity to take probably a 75% kick into the midfield, but elected to be more conservative down the line.
Did the same a while ago when he took that great mark on the half-back flank, and he almost looked to go inside, but I think he's just considering the conditions that down the line isn't a bad option today, particularly if they've got numbers at the fall of the ball.
Ed Curnow here on the side of the pack, following Fyfe everywhere. Bypasses both of them that time. Fyfe throwing his weight around, almost winning it. Plenty of players around the football, it's not going to get clear. And Setterfield is taking the standing tackle.
So Murphy's getting plenty of it, 9 at 60%. Walsh has had 7, but only going at 33%. And in the rooms, we've got a problem.
Fyfe. Mundy. Murphy fighting hard. Able to emerge with it. High ball forward. Logue attacking it. Couldn't mark it, but he knocked it back to Hughes. Left behind by Chera. Able to mop it up. Hill. And now the space opens up for Fremantle. Walters sends it in quickly. Off hands. Matera was trying to take it and go. Banfield quickly off the pack, but wide.
Michael Walters marked and turned quickly to get the ball in, but Connor Blakely had run really well off half-back, looking for some overlap. The idea was right to get it in quickly, but you've got to play what's in front of you. Had a runner who could have run in and passed it in.
Deep in attack, the Dockers. Bewley was cleared out of there with a good bump. Walters had his head down, taken high, and he'll get the free kick at the shot at goal. There's a little bit going on after the fact as well. Some high contact there for Michael Walters. And the Freo start. We'll go back and try and slot goal number 4 for the term for the home side. He's having a career best year, Michael Walters. He's kicked 28 so far this season, which is more than Freo's leading goal kicker in the last 2 seasons. It was him in 2018 with 22 and Cam McCarthy with 25 in 2017. So Fremantle's scoring output certainly increased in the 2019 season. And Michael Walters has been a driving factor of that.
It was really interesting watching that close to goal stoppage. I reckon they just opened up a nice channel for the skipper Fyfe to roll through. They didn't actually, Fyfe didn't get the goal, and Michael Walters ended up putting his head in the hole and getting it taken away. But you can just see that there's plenty of space in front, and Fyfe is, it's not the best angle, but Fyfe was coming charging through, and it's something that Carlton needs to address. Interesting call on that one.
Plenty of times that one hasn't been paid a free kick, given the fact that the player with the ball chooses to duck.
Yep. Yeah, I think the replay would suggest pretty lucky there, Michael Walters.
Mitch McGovern's also just been taken down into the room, so Carlton in the wars at the moment.
Thanks, Kingy. Injury concerns are plenty for the Blues. Concerns with the scoreboard as well. On a trail by 24. Here's Hill into Darcy. Back for Brad Hill. Generating some run again. It's a nice delivery. Out into the path of Brennan Cox. McCarthy on a strong lead into the forward pocket. Just sits up a little, but he got a push. It looked like it was about to go over his head. And he got a little nudge from Wiedering. And another shot at goal late in this term for Fremantle.
Well, it looked like two hands in the back and a shove to me. And if that's the case, if it was as blatant as that, then he's only got himself to blame, because the ball was going over the top of McCarthy's head. Just a free shot.
And McCarthy back in the side. Hasn't played since round 7, but he's enjoying his return. He's got 2 goals in the first quarter.
A good finish from Cam McCarthy and good play from the Fremantle forwards. In terms of getting some separation, you've got here McCarthy leading hard at the ball and Bailey Banfield coming in behind. So it means that Newman's got a decision to make. Does he stay with Banfield, who he's playing on right now, or does he choose to roll off and go to McCarthy? You can see there just a split-second decision. He didn't roll off. He stayed with his opponent Banfield. McCarthy gets the one-on-one and the free kick and the goal. Separation's critical when you're playing in the forward half and creating confusion for your defenders. Good play there by both McCarthy and Banfield.
McCarthy with a couple on his return. Darcy's hit out. Can the Blues get one late in this opening quarter? Walsh swings it forward. There's some holding going on at the other end. And Silvani's going to get the free kick. Nathan Hughes had the arms wrapped around. So a good opportunity here for the Blues.
A good clearance from the Blues right on quarter time. Critical just to get a little bit of momentum.
Jack Silvani, offside inclusion today. After the siren at quarter time, have the Blues found their first? No, they haven't. They're behind at Carlton. Been a disastrous first quarter for the visiting side. Fremantle pretty happy with the way things are at quarter time, leading by 29. But the big story, the injury to Charlie Curnow and the Blues. At quarter time, it's the Dockers by 29.
Well, they've got to get back to basics now, the Blues, and start with the contested ball. They're well down there, but -14, and they're -14 in ground balls as well, just to focus their attention on one element of the game.
The second quarter from Optus Stadium is underway, and the bounce will be recalled.
And all the stars got up and away by the Dockers, despite being tagged. Nat Fyfe had 9, got a goal. Walters had 10, he's got a goal. Cam McCarthy's been the story for them with a couple early.
Bruiser swings it forward. Hughes, the spoil away. Langdon, there's some heavy pressure up to Switkowski. Tough to take down low. Hughes is there and shoveled over the line there by Gibbons. A bit of a makeshift forward line, I guess, for Carlton. No Harry Mackay this afternoon. Charlie Curnow off the ground. Mitch McGovern off the ground at the minute as well. Casbolt down there, but where's their first goal going to come from?
Yeah, you got Casbolt and then a lot of smalls. Walsh, Petreski, Seaton, Fisher.
Bruiser lost it. Ryan after it. Here's Petreski, Seaton. Can he produce the first one? Swings it across to the young star Walsh. Not enough on it. And Chera back there to knock it out of play.
Once again, a guy going around the corner, putting topspin on the ball and dropping short. It's a low-grade shot for mine, Pav, and we've seen a number of players, even in the last couple of weeks, just miss goals that they should have because they don't get the distance.
Casbolt down to Cruiser. The two ruckmen combining, but Cruiser on the burst, couldn't control it. Walters. Hamling, deep in defence. Blasted as far as he can. Wilson there. With it back. Sent back in by Newman. Casbolt attacks it. Hamling made the contest. Kennedy lost it. Ryan. His clearing kick is going to flirt with the boundary line, but it'll fall short.
Good bit of territory dominance here, as you were going to say, Paps. And they've got to somehow get it in there and get some ball on the deck and win it.
Players at the fall here. Off hands. Chera, Petreski, Seaton, and the boundary line.
He's a talented player, that Ryan. Just saw him in the first quarter spoil directionally with his left hand. Most players are dominant in spoiling with one hand and they can get caught out, but he looks to have the complete package.
Langdon sliding his way towards the line, and he effectively scores a try over the boundary, which is quite interesting given State of Origin was at this venue this time last week.
McGovern back from the rooms, boys. He's on the bench. Doesn't look overly thrilled. Not sure what the situation is with him. I'll update shortly.
Thanks, Kingy. Ball squeezes out into the path of Kennedy. And Hamling for company. Setterfield, a clean gather. Silvani got it back. Walsh running out of options. Switkowski, Brayshaw, Wilson. He controlled it with one hand. Still able to get the kick away. Brendan Cox. Handball through by Chera. He'll miss with a handball. And took the bump, the tackle there from Marchbank. Ed Curnow sends it back, but Hamling will swallow it. Now Fremantle look to set up out of defence. The kick hangs in the air for a while. Big opportunity here for Carlton. O'Brien from 45 launches long, but wayward.
He's got to nail those, Pav. That's his great strength, the kick.
Yeah, and he had Petreski-Seaton running into the open goal as well. Fair enough to take the shot, but you've got to nail them. Not sure about the kick. Well, that's a better one from Ryan to Walters, but great defence from Carlton to have that opportunity.
Brendan Cox. Banfield presents. Takes a nice mark. He's been in good form in the waffle. Gets a recall this afternoon.
Oh, he's quite tall, Bailey Banfield. Got great running ability, but playing as a key forward today with so many outs. With Lobb, Hogan, Taberner, obviously all not out there, so he's playing more of that traditional centre-half forward hit-up type of role.
His first game since round 3 for Bailey Banfield at AFL level, and tried to switch there. Fremantle didn't quite come off that time.
The ruckman have got a long way to go here, Jared. I'm interested to see your thoughts on, so Matthew Cruiser, been such a good player for Carlton, had these injuries, but Sean Darcy, how he's going and in his development against a seasoned AFL ruckman?
I think he's going really well. I thought last week he at least equalled Max Gawn, if not had the better of him in the first half. I think Max got on top late, but as a young bloke coming through, it's a position you generally get better at when you're post 25, and he's doing well.
Only his second year, isn't he? So Aaron Sandilands, by the sounds, isn't too far away from a return. I understand he had a big training session yesterday, so getting closer to playing a game of football, probably back in the waffle, you would have thought, but Darcy doing a good job nonetheless.
Possibly as early as next week for Aaron Sandilands in the waffle. He's been on the sidelines for quite some time. There's Mitch McGovern.
Well, they've got plenty of territory at the present time. The Blues had the first 5 inside 50s, just still can't crack it for the major, and maybe the instructions to Mitch McGovern is, are you right or are you not right? Because if you are, let's get you on there.
Darcy's hit out to Conker, who plays the conditions well and just hacks the ball forward and gains plenty of metres.
And his type of aerial ability, yeah, it's slippery, but he would make a contest. So when you've only got Casbolt and potentially Silvani down your forward line, you want a Mitch McGovern out there crashing packs, bringing the ball to ground for your likes of Walsh and Fisher and Gibbons to do the damage at ground level.
Langdon dropped the footy as he was about to kick, changed direction, and that's an awkward collision there between Fife and Murphy, who went in. Fife was wanting a free kick. It will be a boundary throw-in.
It was all accidental, but could have been nasty.
Cruiser up strongly. Darcy, Petreski seat. Fisher away. Just tumbles the ball up the line, and they see it out. So they're just, it is a territory battle at the minute.
And they're winning it well, but it's the score that's the issue. They're just without an answer at the present time.
Darcy wary of Cruiser for that stoppage. It's hit straight down the throat of Murphy, out into the path of Casbolt. Griffin Logues lost his boot as it's chipped into Gibbons. And the Blues will get another opportunity to kick their first.
Well, that's just great footy, Pav, from the stoppage through.
Yeah, and Casbolt's been very impressive. He hit up at the ball early in that first quarter a number of times. He looked sharp on that occasion. Good stoppage work from Murphy. But Casbolt's the one that's looked most likely for the Blues.
Ross would be filthy with that, being one of the great stoppage coaches of the modern era. For someone to be able to get to the defensive hip as easily as that.
So the last 5 for Michael Gibbons has gone 0, 2 goals, 0, 2 goals, 0. So he's due for 2 goals this afternoon. And there's his first of the afternoon. And the Blues first.
And it came from great stoppage work, as you pointed out, Jared, off the hip, defensive side. Mark Murphy just waltzed through with no pressure whatsoever. The kick wasn't a ripper, it was just read beautifully off the hand from Murphy. But this was good from Casbolt. A great take at ground level for a big guy. Turns around and then spots up the kip. Great play from the Blues.
And the ruckman are being told to say, for the last 3 years I've been told, hit it to the defensive hip. If you're not going to be there, we better go back to plan B. And there's the upside and the downside for being predictable as to where you hit the ball, because Murphy knew exactly where it was going if Fremantle won it. And it was a great initiative to get that goal.
They've certainly started the second quarter the better, Carlton, as Ed Curnow goes in after this one. Ball dislodged out to Simpson. Swings a high kick to half forward. Blakely back with courage. Couldn't hang on though. Petrescu's seat, lightning hands to Murphy. Dow was crunched. Dislodged by Tucker. Silvani kept it moving forward. Walsh was clean. Blakely involved again. Tucker after it. Good pressure here by the Blues. Squirts out towards Plowman. And now Newman. They'll go inside 50 again. He drills the kick low. Hamling a good spoil. And Langdon away to Ryan. He bombs it high. Back to the wing. Plowman there, but Jones reads it and takes off. They'll pump it back inside 50. Petrescu, Seaton rising. Couldn't take it. Bewley's kick up and under. Not 15. Petrescu, Seaton created some room. Blakely in there as well. Game right on at the minute.
Yeah, he's given them a spark in the forward line, Petrescu, Seaton. And it's good to see Jones coming charging off the half-back line. All of a sudden, I think the Blues have settled. And they're starting to win their fair share of contested ball to even things up.
There's Darcy. O'Brien. Ed Curnow, cleverly. Murphy has been busy. Played by Blakely initially, but ricocheted back to him. McCarthy getting fancy with the foot skills, as was Matera. No one back there for Fremantle. Nice pick up for Wiedering, but he played it nicely.
Not an inside 50 at the moment for the Dockers this quarter. Carlton have 9. And they're right on top around the clearances, 7-3 so far, which was an Achilles heel for them in the first quarter. They're dominating this second term.
They've just pushed Cruiser to full forward to try and get that big target you're looking for.
Casbolt kicks straight into Darcy on the mark, and then Darcy follows up with a good tackle. Wiedering down low finds Ed Curnow. Through the middle they go, the Blues. Dominating possession, dominating time in forward half. They go forward again, and Blakely takes a terrific mark in defence. He's under heavy pressure from Kennedy. He overcooks the kick though, and it opens the door again for the Blues. Ed Curnow bombs it. High one back into the hot spot. Cruiser up, made the contest. Hughes back into the traffic. A handball, a dangerous one. Ryan is there. Boundary line looming again. Blues asking the question. And we'll get a boundary throw in.
It was a great mark from Blakely, but there was an option shorter with Tucker inside. Went for the longer one and just overkicked it.
In golf, that's a lost ball, 2-shot penalty.
There's another one.
Well, Hannah Green is in the building today.
Yes, she is. Indeed.
Recent PGA Championship winner. Ball sent into the pocket. Ryan just barrels it out of defence. Brennan Cox got there first. And it is going to be a ball up. So it's a good fight from the Blues in this second quarter.
Very good fight, and pretty good fight from Aussie women on the stage of Aussie sport. You talk about Ash Barty and Hannah Green, but of course Sally Fitzgibbon. Good to see Hannah in the house, 22-year-old from Perth.
Time in forward half dominated by the Blues in this term. Blakely swings it forward and Jones intercepts again.
No, they're just on top everywhere at the present time. Their defence is reading the ball best. They're getting their share of clearances, and the contested numbers are well and truly in their favour in this term.
Jones just sends it high. Look at the players underneath. McGovern almost able to take it. Fife, Hughes working hard. Silvani trying to get it up. O'Brien missed with the soccer attempt. Mundy in and under. Blakely in there as well. Fife got his hands clear. Tucker missed with the kick. Good work from Cruiser. Shove it across to Gibbons. Hill just hacks it away. We'll come back to Newman. And queuing up again, Simpson. And it's going to be a down-the-ground free kick, or across the ground, if you like, free kick to the Blues. And
not too damaging that down the ground. It was only went forward 10 or so metres.
There's a blood rule.
Jared, their ability, Carlton at the moment, as Ethan Hughes comes off with the blood rule, their ability to stop the ball in their forward half and just keep repeating entries or repelling Fremantle from getting it out of their back half has been outstanding. We know that's what the shift has been more recently with David Teague in charge, and they've been right on top. You can see there in your screen, 10-0 forward half intercepts this quarter.
Jested again. Just chipping up. Petreski, Seaton with the sticky hands. Takes a nice mark inside 50. And the Blues will be hoping they can get some reward for all the effort they've put in this second term.
Well, he has been the spark. I reckon he was the one who initiated the attack on the ball the first couple of times the ball went inside forward 50. Maybe he's going to be the one who initiates the score, because they deserve a couple of goals given their dominance in this term.
Sam Petreski-Seaton, the young man from Halls Creek, spent some time in Broome over the Blues bye. He's back out there. He's in form. He's kicking a goal. And the Blues are playing well.
Well, it's the game style that stacks up no matter where you're playing, whether it's here in Perth or Victoria, Queensland. If you get the ball off your opposition in your forward half, you get an opportunity to score. And they've done this regularly, Carlton, this quarter. And they've put a lot of pressure on this Dockers defence. Right on top. And it's a great finish from a star young player.
You can see Charlie Curnow with the jumper on. Confirmation from the Blues earlier that a medial injury to that right knee will take no further part. Miss a few weeks, you would think, but now it's the Blues' turn to rack up the inside 50s. They've got the margin back to 16. They've given sides a head start over the last couple of weeks. They were 37 down against the Lions, came back to win, 34 down against the Bulldogs and only lost by 3 points. So they know how to turn things around.
Well, as we just saw, they dominated the inside 50s. The Dockers yet to go inside their forward 50 in this term. That's the good news. The bad news is they haven't got reward on the board. Just the one goal.
Conker to half forward. Simpson back. Couldn't hang on. Ed Curnow heard a voice. Got the handball out. On the ground was Walsh. And for a moment, he may have suffered an injury, but he's okay. And there's Charlie Curnow walking his way around the boundary.
So, Pav, if there was such a thing as a timeout in football, I reckon Ross would call one right now and say, OK, they're working harder. They want it more. Who's going to address this situation?
Well, with lack of runners now, or they've been marginalised, haven't they? They're not out there as much as they used to be. A timeout would be good if you're a Fremantle supporter, because the Blues are right on top in mainly all facets of the game, really. They're just dominating clearance and getting the ball forward.
Go forward again, Carlton. Petreski-Seaton hunting after the footy. Beats a couple of them there as well. Curnow turned back into trouble. Petreski-Seaton again. Tucker went in hard. Blakely there. Petreski-Seaton with a third or a fourth effort. Over the top to Thomas. The kick went backwards, but it was perfect. Onto the chest of Plowman. Now go inside 50 again. It's a 1-on-4, and Fife gets back to help.
It was the wrong option going inside 50.
Drop mark. Danger for Hughes. Fife. Now back to Wilson. He'll turn and go off the left, short to Blakely.
Well, it was a great intercept mark by the captain, but then a poor kick and then a fumble. And this is contagious. They were really poor in the second quarter last week too against the Demons after a big first quarter. And they need a little bit of leadership and a little bit of drive.
Langdon stands up there. Takes a good mark.
There's not many times in a game of footy where you go 16 to zip inside 50s, and that's exactly what it is right now.
Langdon's high kick. Plenty of players at the drop, but the only one that went up was Jones. He'll get a free kick for front on contact. He's made an impressive return.
He's had a big quarter. A few intercept marks.
Carlton go forward again. Not really to the advantage of Dow, but he weighted down and he sent it towards goal. Paddy Dow adds another, and the Blues are on a roll.
Well, this is classic footy right now. We've seen Geelong have a lead in this element of the game. And Kingy, you might as well bring you in here because you were the first one to identify it. The Dockers get 2 guys up at the other end of the ground when we get to it. And Paddy Dow stays down and scores the simplest of goals.
If you commit 2 defenders in the air, you must diffuse the high ball problem. And if you don't, you pay a price at ground level. A fantastic finish from Paddy Dow. That's been the question mark this season.
So right now, the game has gone from being just about over with Cruiser off the ground and a 30-odd point deficit at quarter time. Be right back on Pav. They are playing really good footy, the Blues, and Ross Lyon and the Dockers camp would be really nervous at the moment.
No Charlie Curnow, but they're playing really well, the Blues. And their conquer. And Fremantle find a response there on the siege just at the minute.
Jack Silvani a bit sore after a Conker stray leg, but they've got Fife, Mundy and Conker in there. They still can't win a clearance.
One there for Silvani. Certainly be painful. Conker trying to get a handball through. Matera fighting hard. Beats it back to Tucker. They get it inside 50. They get the jeers from the crowd. And it's rushed through for a behind. A very rare moment inside 50 for Fremantle in this second quarter.
Plenty of Blues fans here. Been a lot of great Carlton players that hailed from Western Australia. Plenty of travelling. I've never heard a Bronx cheer for an inside 50.
Well, they're onto it, the Fremantle fans. They
expect a bit more than that.
They do. They sense that Carlton are right on top. They want a response from their team.
11 points lead. David Teague watching on. Certainly got his side playing with plenty of spirit, plenty of fight since he's taken over. They're fighting their way back into this one. Hughes trying to take them on. Taken down by Setterfield. Brayshaw up to meet it. Petrevski-Seton down low, able to find it. Now he feeds it to O'Brien. Got a couple to beat. Brayshaw right there with him. Switkowski almost poaching it away. Brayshaw sends it in. Brennan Cox, Matera, Plowman. Hill missed it. And Marchbank over the line.
Brad Hill looks as though he's spent a bit of time up forward. Only had the 2 touches this quarter. He has been pretty heavily followed by O'Brien from Carlton, and I think it's part of the reason why they're on top, the Blues, taking out a few of the stars of the Dockers team.
Simpson, much purchase on the kick. Life lost to Gibbons, emerges with it. It wasn't 15 for McGovern. He's still on his knees. He's trying to walk away. Here's Lowe, gets with Switkowski. Matera wrestling. Marchbank there first. Good tackle, Brennan Cox. O'Brien. Petrevski-Seton left it short. Chera read it well. On his heels was Walsh, and Chera knocks it over the line.
But for the first time in this quarter, we're just seeing a little bit of territory being played or being gained by the Dockers. Nothing to talk about as far as score.
That Fife, the highest ranked player on the ground by a fair margin. He certainly had an impact. Also in the first quarter than the second, but sort of followed the trend of the team. Here's Chera. One ball in. Marchbank camps underneath it. 50. It should be against Brennan Cox. Might be.
Gee, they've done that well, Carlton, this quarter. Read the ball so cleanly in the back half and intercepted mark.
Setterfield searching for option. Ryan in the middle of everyone. Almost able to bring it down. Switkowski being busy. But no targets up there. And Wiedering able to intercept. The switch. There was heavy contact behind the play. Plowman on Matera. He copped a big bump. Matera back to his feet.
Carlton are well on top here. 17 inside 50s to 4 for the quarter. They just need Mitch McGovern to involve himself in this game in the forward half of the ground. They've had to push Matthew Cruiser forward again to be that big presence down there. It's McGovern's time. Without Charlie Curnow down there today, it's his time.
And right now they're a little bit undersized. They've got the mismatch because Michael Walters is now, well, he was on Cruiser. Now he's pushed over onto McGovern.
He couldn't get further away from the ball, though, Kingy. That's the issue if you're Mitch McGovern. He's just content to play deep forward half and not really come up at the ball.
Out the back they go again. The Blues, they waited down. Dow into the pocket. Walters back there. McGovern getting involved. He dropped it first time, but he can help himself to the goal. And on cue, Mitch McGovern kicks it, and the Blues continue on their way.
Well, Michael Walters really played Russian roulette on that occasion. There was looked like it was going to be a stoppage. He pushed over, and then he started coming towards the ball. Ryan was coming back, but in the end, they won the clearance. They won it really well, and he wasn't able to get back to cover. I mean, that just needed to be changed early in the piece. It somehow needed to be some communication, but it was a really good kick. And McGovern, just showing he's a bit out of form at the moment, dropped the sitter, got lucky.
Well, he's the one, isn't he, if you're a Carlton supporter, to really capitalise on this dominance. Great quarter from the Blues. Right back in it.
29-point lead it was to the Dockers at quarter time. The lead now just 5. It's a free kick, and it'll go Reece Conker's way out of the middle. The players thought it was a Blues free kick, so they started going forward, and it was Fremantle's, which allowed Matera to escape. He's at the 50. Fremantle desperate for a goal. Banfield crunched into. They'll take the goal through Brendan Cox. And they try and arrest some of the momentum the Blues have.
Interesting your thoughts here, Pav, as to whether this is front on contact or not. Matters not, but geez, he got steamrolled in the middle of the ground.
So here's the free kick. Silvani probably was held onto, but the umpire saw the first one with Conker, and that's how Matera got out. Let's have a look. There's McCarthy and Banfield working their patterns pretty well again, and that's a free kick. The result's in a goal, but it's definitely a free kick.
The Blues had kicked 4 in a row. Fremantle get one back. Brendan Cox kicks it from the square. 45 minutes till half-time.
Mundy's the one who needs to lift. I know it's asking a lot of the 32-year-old, but he's had just the one possession in this term.
He's caught holding the ball there as they go to the 50 through the hands of Casbolt. Hughes, Blakely can work the numbers. Ryan, Blakely, Langdon trying to find some of that run, which was so promising in the first term. 5 drifting from the side. Sported away from Wiedering. Marchbank gets it back. Curnow cleverly in short to Thomas.
Well, Carlton showed Fremantle how to use the ball going to their forward half this quarter. They've become a long kicking team to the contest, which has just suited the likes of Wiedering and Jones down back. And Carlton have actually done this. They've controlled the ball. They've made the ground big. They've kicked it around and dictated.
Walsh, the kick was short though. He's in front of McGovern, and in between Gibbons and Wilson, able to intercept.
Let me down on that occasion, did Sam Walsh.
He did. It's the one area of his game he needs to address, and that's his disposal, unpressured disposal.
Blakely to Mundy.
You're right, Jared. David Mundy. There's another poor kick, but started the game well, but gone missing with a number of the midfielders for the Freo.
Hill was able to create something. Brayshaw goes to 5 on the lead.
Geez, in these conditions, that is a superb mark. It's a good kick, but it was difficult.
Darcy and Cruiser down in the forward line.
Life too far out, so go sideways.
See how crowded that forward half is. Blakely looking inside, darting eyes.
Just lays it up to the hot spot. Looking for a leaper. Kennedy got hands to it for Carlton. Mundy scrapping after it. Hughes burrows in, gets it out to Bewley. Not good purchase, but nowhere near enough. And O'Brien was just camped back there to intercept. Plowman short to Fisher.
Pretty impressive comeback this by the Blues, Kingy.
All heart, Jared, all heart. They're down some star factor at the moment, there's no doubt about that, but every man out there is just doing their little bit, and away they go again.
They take the advantage here. Gibbons will just cruise around the boundary. He's got no one inside 50, so has to wait for the runners. He sets it up high. Cruiser puts in a big effort, but Fife waits back. He knew Cruiser was coming, but he stood tall, the Freo skipper, and they release out the other way.
And Walters is free if they can get there.
Hill to Langdon. Walters still screaming for it. They go short to Bewley. It was a tough kick, and he was dragged down, though, and will get the free kick.
Not sure about the option to come back inside from Ed Langdon. It paid off with the free kick, but you're right, Michael Walters was all by himself on the half-forward flank. Didn't see him.
Bewley launches it long. Weeder.
They've done it on, I would say, about a dozen's occasion this quarter, Fremantle, where they've just dumped the kick forward without any pressure, and the likes of Wiedering, Jones and Co have just mopped up.
And Michael Walters, he was frustrated. He's just basically saying to Cox, well, come on, let's give it a target. Let's get that ball on the deck.
Fisher held up by Langdon on the mark.
And that does, you know, without the likes of Lobb, Hogan, Taberner, who were really...
Fisher worked himself into some trouble. Fremantle's pressure building. Chera taken down. Able to get it out again, the Blues. Setterfield up to Kennedy.
That was a great extraction, that one.
Just over a minute to go in this second quarter. In long, O'Brien. What a kick it was into the pocket. Always to his advantage. And O'Brien, he wants to play on. He goes towards Gibbons. It was almost a goal anyway, but a wasted opportunity.
Well, it just shows the difference between the execution. That occasion, a piercing kick into the advantage of a Carlton forward. Up the other end, no competition from the tools from Fremantle, but lack of continuity between what the midfielders are expecting.
Yep.
Half-time siren can't come quick enough for the home team. Inside the last minute of this second term. Banfield with strength. Worked it nicely against Setterfield. In no rush whatsoever. Up the wing they go. Wiedering right there. And a good spoil away. And it's over the line.
Carlton was smashed in the first quarter with ground ball, Jared. This quarter they've evened it right up, and no surprises in the conditions how important it is. They were minus 14 in the first quarter and even this quarter, so one of the areas they're right on top in.
Well, the good players aren't playing well outside the captain. You've got Walters only had a couple of possessions. Hill's only had 3 possessions in this term. Chera's only had a couple of possessions. They're their generators. And there ain't any electricity at the moment.
Still a chance of a score from this stoppage if they move it quickly.
White's been enormous all game. And he needs half a dozen teammates to go with him in the third term if they're to avoid this assault by the Blues. Been really impressive.
Blues won it down but couldn't find it. Setterfield quickly forward. McGovern working hard to get there opposed to Chera, and that will do it for the second term. A brilliant fight back by the Blues without their young star in Charlie Curnow, who injured his knee in the first term. But it was a tremendous fight back by the visiting side. 29-point deficit it was at quarter time, and they've reduced that back to just 10 at the major break, and it's game on.
Certainly is game on. 21 inside 50s that quarter to 7. A pure dominance really from the Blues. As we head down to David King, he's got Michael Walters with him.
Certainly have. Sonny, how are you assessing it out there? It was a tale of 2 quarters, wasn't it? You had the first quarter, they had the second.
Yeah, it definitely was. And as you said, you know, we came out, we played our brand of footy in the first quarter. That quarter, they got over the top of us. They just seem to have more numbers around the contest than us. Right now, we're going to go in, think about what we need to do around the contest and try and join in a lot more.
You got caught down back a couple of times. Is that by design or just get caught out?
No, it's definitely not by design. You see my games, I don't defend, but yeah, like I said, we're going to go back, reassess, and make sure we have more numbers around the contest.
Good luck, mate.
Thank you.
Plenty of honesty from Michael Walters at half-time. Plenty to think about for Fremantle as they head into the sheds. We'll analyse how this game turned around when we come back. It's the Dockers letting it by 10 points.
He had his own footy in the forward half. 7 possessions when you're basically playing inside the forward fifth with a little bit of a run of the ball. That is a great return.
A few twists and turns in the game so far. How will it play out over the next 2 quarters? We're underway, second half, Optus Stadium, Fremantle and Carlton, and the Blues get the first clearance with ease as they send it inside 50. Dow trying to knock it away. Petruski-Seaton who's the danger man in that second term. Walsh shoveled it over his shoulder. Clever stuff from Silvani. Walsh goes back inside 50 again. Good spoil handling. Ryan under pressure. Gibbons fighting hard. Blakely lost it. Dow in there. Good intense start to this second half.
No, it's impossible to draw conclusions in 45 seconds, Pat, but they're sharp, the Blues. Their hands look dry. They look intense. And they've got territory.
Another centre clearance, wasn't it? 7-4 in Carlton's favour.
Mundy, an important tap. Plowman knocked it on. Cruiser's kick smothered. Hill missed it. Opens the door for Murphy. Try to slip it through. Walters disrupted it. Blakely, Fife. Walters, dangerous. Back into the corridor. Wilson lost it. Fisher, the blind turn. Back to Silvani. He sends it goalward. Can't work it back enough.
Well, it's a couple of times now. Twice last week, Michael Walters had shocking kicks in the back 50. Just pulling the trigger when something else is much better option. I mean, he's too good a player to be doing that nonsense.
Maybe a little apology there from Michael Walters as he gets back to position. Wilson tries to sting the kick up the middle of the ground. Good strong hands from Brennan Cox.
That is a great mark, and it's why so much is expected of him.
And the overlap from Mundy, cruising past, sends it in towards Matera. Jones drops the mark. Simpson can mop it up. He goes in short. Marchbank's got it.
That's the one I reckon Ross Lyon would say, Cam McCarthy, where are you? Come up the ground. We don't want Matera flying for football.
Well, Jones is McCarthy's opponent, so yes, it was a kick in and McCarthy was on the other side of the ground, but he got to the contest before his opponent did.
Walsh. Strong hands by Casbolt. The handball, though, was too strong. Silvani couldn't take it. Mundy gets it to Hill. Long handball to Fife. Steps inside and straightens. Matera presents. McCarthy comes on a searching lead into a pocket of space. Matera wants to switch it, though. He's got a man standing at the 50. It's Blakely. Kick just drifted back, so too far to score. And he goes short and wide. Too short of Tucker. Hunted up by O'Brien. He's affected. Working hard, Langdon, but Murphy played it okay. O'Brien wobbles one. Gives it straight back to Blakely. So another opportunity for Fremantle. Mundy, can he use it? Sends it out to the advantage of Fife. Hands to it, no. Well done. Silvani with just enough pressure to affect Fife. Walsh has got nothing up the ground, so has to put in the kick and the chase, but the Dockers with the numbers. Low. Serves a good shepherd from Hamlin. Chair up. Hamling off the instep. Works out okay for Mundy. Slipped a little. Logue again. Long ball up to Darcy. Fife flying back. Tremendous courage from the Fremantle skipper.
Oh, he's putting on a clinic here. This is unbelievable to watch. If you love Australian rules football, you'll be loving this bloke strut his stuff. In the air, on the ground. Could have got one earlier, but the umpire, I think, elected to ignore the push. And this guy can kick it from here, Pav.
He can. Nathan Fife, incredible. Eyes on the ball the whole way. Got a bit of protection from his teammates, but what a spectacular mark it was. And then just smart. Waited, held, found the space. McCarthy did, and laid it there for his teammate.
4 goals, 3 in the waffle across the last couple of weeks. He's got his game face on today, though. Cam McCarthy just a little short.
The Fremantle Stars really complement one another. Just the brutality of Fife, the silky smooth skills of Bradley Hill, and then you've got Michael Walters, who does a bit of everything, particularly in the forward half. It's an awesome outfit at the moment.
Fighting hard to try and gain control back of this game, because the Blues challenged them in that second term. They continue to challenge in the third. Marchbank's kick, clean bowls 2 or 3. Logue still going after it. A cake of soap out there at the minute. No one can lay a clean hand on it. Brad Hill went past it. Darcy's got it. It's gone about 50 metres with no one able to take it cleanly. Fife pinballing around. Setterfield knocks it away. And Fife just down and taking time to get back to his feet. May have copped a knock to the head. Murphy loops it over the top. Gibbons had to wait. Took the contact from Hamling. Still got the footy. Got it out wide, and Langdon loses it over the line.
He copped a big hit with, I think it was Cruiser that crunched him. That is a big contest. It might be as he definitely in that original contest. He's up and moving, but he's pretty shaken, the captain.
He's had concussion problems this season. Nat Fyfe copped a heavy knock against the Saints earlier on this season. We hope that he's okay. He's staying out there as we see a free kick in the forward line here going to Carlton.
Good response by the Blues on the back of the last goal to Fremantle. They've gone forward. They've attacked the captain with a bit of brute strength.
Levi Casbolt hasn't had many shots at goal lately. Hasn't hit the scoreboard in the last 6 weeks as he's been playing the majority of his time in defence. This shot at goal looks very, very good. And the Blues are away in the third term.
Well, it's concerning for a Fremantle supporter at home. Their skipper is a bit sore and sorry. He's still out there. Ross Lyon unsure right now what to do in response to that hit on Nathan Fyfe, but also to the dominance of the Carlton team over the last quarter and a bit. Here's the free kick. Just enough of a jumper hold. The umpire sees it, and it's a goal.
Yeah, it's a good call from the umpire. I reckon they've been sloppy to date, not picking up, pushing the backs in the ruck contest. But the one thing they are all trained at, it's if you grab the jumper, you're gone. No arguments.
Fyfe stays out there. Casbolt with the goal. Margin just 4 points. Fyfe trying to get it out. Ed Curnow. He's able to get half a kick away. Brad Hill under pressure from Murphy. Walters went in low. Gets a high tackle. Away to Hill. Pushing hard forward is Darcy. And the big ruckman's got it at centre half forward. He'll feed it back to Hill. Slips it through to Wilson, who's got a long kick. He darts it in instead. Tough one to take. A clean bowled Wiedering. Bewley's handball. Tucker put his head over it. Boundary line looming. Kept it alive. McCarthy hacks it. Bewley trying to find it at his feet. Out the back it spills again. Newman shrugging one off. Tucker involved again. And over the line eventually.
He's seen some chaos balls have some impact.
The forwards haven't had a huge amount of clear ball, have they, from either end, but particularly for Fremantle forwards, there hasn't been too many lace-out passes. Obviously wet and slippery out there.
Silvani playing close attention to Fyfe. Curnow's kick didn't go far. Tucker involved. Across to Hill. Fyfe backtracking. Casually back to Mundy. Found Tucker instead. Long kick is a behind. The Blues challenging in this third term. Plenty up for grabs for the Dockers. They can go game clear in the top 8 with victory this afternoon. And Carlton are looking to spoil it.
That's a great kick.
Able to be held onto by Plowman. Almost had enough. March back and he got a shove. Look out wide for McGovern. The Blues into a bit of space now. Dow. Too many options at half forward. Thought about going back. McGovern's worked hard. Goes instead for Kennedy. Ryan back. 2 up for Fremantle. They force the ball over.
You can see Dow, he wanted to switch the ball, which has been a bit of the way they've played today, Carlton, particularly across halfback, trying to stretch the ground, make it big, find little pockets of space in the midfield, but decided to go down the line.
Fyfe. Silvani's got him, held him a long time. It looked a great tackle, but not given any prior.
It's a good matchup for Carlton fans at home. Silvani, pretty much the same height, bit of weight difference between he and Nathan Fyfe, but set a task for the young player.
Bruiser took it clean and then kicked it into his teammate.
You just wonder how long, though, Fremantle can rely on the old blokes of Fyfe and Mundy, who's a lot older than Fyfe, I know, but to get the job done every week.
I think David Mundy's just given away a free kick, speaking of Mundy.
I think they've got to throw the responsibility to the likes of Chera.
Curnow sends it in. Casbolt almost off the hands of Hughes. He sends it straight to the line. The Blues ask the question, but don't get the answer they wanted.
And the other one might be an Andy Brayshaw. He hasn't had
much of the ball.
Hasn't had much of the ball, much of the time in the midfield today.
Gibbons and Langdon are having plenty to chat about amongst themselves. Cruiser having an impact. Walters, Darcy trying to get it to Hill, but stolen by Petrevski-Seton. Hughes crashing through. Walsh was clean, got it to Setterfield. Curnow, not much purchase on the kick. Langdon slipped over. Blakely's got it. Logue taking his time, a little casual in defence. He was under the pump. Now Blakely in trouble. Logue has to go again. Blues with the numbers. Walsh, Kennedy, boundary.
Well, they got the numbers, they got the energy, and they got the forward pressure.
So Hamling went on with it. Kennedy plays on, around the body, a sensational finish, and the Blues hit the lead.
Well, if you're a Fremantle player in that scuffle, you do well to just worry about getting on with the game at the moment, Jared. The Blues right on top, and they've got in the face of the Dockers and really beat them in their own game in terms of the contest. Here's the free kick. Not so sure about why the free kick was paid.
Yeah, that's inexplicable.
Strange decision, I would have thought.
Controversial decision, but it's really about the maturity of this Fremantle group right now, because they've got nothing to lose, Carlton. They are just having a red-hot go. Their forward pressure is fantastic. And their numbers over the last 2 or 3 weeks, King, have suggested this isn't as big a surprise as maybe the position on the ladder would.
No, their forward half game's in good order as they go again, Jared.
Just short of McGowan. The footy fell. And Hughes just bombing it out of defence. Straight to the boundary line. Shaw was giving chase.
They are doing this, of course, without Charlie Curnow, who, in a sickening clash earlier in the game with Ethan Hughes, has gone out of the game after 12 minutes with what we think is a medial ligament injury, which is the best result given the circumstances, and will probably miss 2 to 4 weeks.
I know Patrick Cripps has been their best player by a mile this season. No Harry Mackay either out there. They've been their best forward for the season coming into tonight, this afternoon, in terms of goals kicked. But they have the lead after trailing by 29 points at quarter time. Cruiser up. Fife out the back. Well done, O'Brien. Blakely able to get it on. Great tackling by Carlton. Petrevski-Seton with intent. And the Blues are up for the fight.
So, Jared, if you're one of the leaders at Fremantle right now, what are you not only doing but saying to your team?
I think you've got to get on your bike and start working hard enough. It's all about that. They're being outworked and outgunned by Fremantle. Petrevski-Seton, he just put a saddle on that Fremantle bloke and rode him into the dirt. He's pretty good at that. Got a good history of it.
And he was a bull rider in his younger days.
There it is.
Jared, this threatens to explode down here.
Yep.
You can just feel the tension between both playing groups.
Petrevski-Seton sends it up the wing. Logue with the fist. Fremantle trying to fight back and find a response to the pressure that the Blues are putting them under. Brennan Cox able to halve the contest. Banfield, Mundy, they straighten. Walters.
A great contest from Cox to begin with. We were critical of him a little bit earlier. He and McCarthy, particularly in that second quarter, not making a contest, not competing hard enough across half forward with the likes of Wiedering and Jones mopping up. But on that occasion, good contest, got the ball to Mundy, and no better person to have it kicking inside 50. No better person right now, if you're a Fremantle supporter, to be kicking for goal either.
He's kicked some important goals for Fremantle this season. Michael Walters is yet to hit the scoreboard this afternoon. And that kick will go across the face. Scores level in the West.
Michael Walters has only had 5 disposals since quarter time. David Mundy also gone out of the game a bit. It's amazing how much the Blues have been on top around the middle of the ground.
Simpson long. McGowan with strength. Hamling was right there with him. Goes back inside 50 for Fremantle. Got some numbers at the spill here. Brayshaw was clever. There's some Blues waiting back. Marchbank is about to be run down. Setterfield. Now Jones just chips the kick short. McCarthy steals it. And he's good enough to kick it from the pocket. Cam McCarthy. The kick from Jones just had no penetration on it.
And for the first time in a long time, we're seeing the Dockers get some turnover in their forward 50.
Fremantle from the turnover. Gives Cam McCarthy half a chance. He unloads towards goal. And does he take that chance? Cam McCarthy.
He's had 4 shots, Pav. and they've all been dead centre. The one that didn't go across the line was still dead centre, and it was from 53 or 4 metres out.
It's always been a strength of his, hasn't it? Here's his kick coming out. Unsure what Jones was trying to do. Maybe just trying to get it to Marchbank, was he? Instead of maybe going to the longer 50-50, get it out of the D50, but that's some type of finish.
Cam McCarthy started the season on fire with 5 goals against the Roos and had 2, 1, 2, and then didn't score in his last 2 games before being dropped. Gets his chance back in the side this afternoon, and he's got 3 to his name. Fremantle lead it by 6. Out of the middle. Murphy's kick was smothered. Money couldn't really spike it forward, but it spilt to Langdon. High to the 50. Banfield crunches in. Batira with his head over the football. Tackled by Newman. McCarthy fighting hard. Simpson wrapped up, and we get a ball up.
That's a better contest. Bailey Banfield crushing the pack. At least creating a spillage and meaning that the Dockers get a chance to have a stoppage in their forward half.
Casbolt down to Murphy. Blues will escape through O'Brien. The kick goes. But just enough pressure put on him. As he was executing that kick, it goes out of bounds on the full. The Freo fans had a nervous afternoon at the footy. Decent crowd in, given some poor weather about the place today. High ball forward, almost taken in by Dale Thomas. Curnow scrapping. Number of players fighting for it. And that's high contact. Awkward challenge. Mark Murphy will get back to his feet.
He's had a good day, Mark Murphy. Been really important for the Blues. Had a lot of the ball and used it pretty effectively.
Just an awkward tackle there from Switkowski.
Yeah, they've only had 7 tackles for the quarter, and the Blues have had 17.
Just a moment ago when that ball came in from Conker, Switkowski was the forward that went for the ball. Had 3 other Fremantle tall forwards sitting inside 50. Been a bit of a theme throughout the whole day.
Simpson was flirting with the boundary. Thomas stings a kick in low. Good spoil by Lowe. Now Brayshaw. Conker.
No one forward.
There's a free kick back in the middle of the ground. The umpire was right on the spot, and Switkowski's going to receive it.
Well, it's actually worked well for them because he was going nowhere, Brad Hill. He was completely friendless, had no players forward of the ball.
Why is that different, Jared? Why is that different to holding the player?
Not sure where you get a 50-metre penalty.
Yeah, free kick and 50.
We saw one of those in the Melbourne-Brisbane game. And you'd argue that's exactly the same.
There it is, just running through the square.
Cruiser with strength. Brayshaw able to bust through. Hughes with a high ball. Walters down there wrestling. He almost took it and would have if Jones hadn't got a finger on it. Plowman. Marchbank. Setterfield.
Well, I think Ross would be dirty if you're getting the ball in long there that there's not more ground ball support.
We've got an extra number at the moment, Carlton, at those types of midfield stoppages because they're sending up a high half forward. But you're right, they'd want that release from their half forwards. Fremantle
with numbers at the full. Walters a little sore after that last contest. He's trying to get involved here. Jones had to wait for it. Marchbank scrambling. Setterfield stepping through a couple. Got it to Plowman. This hooks a kick out at a fence. It's almost ripped in by Lowe. Sent forward by Cherra, and McCarthy's got it again. And he showed just a few moments ago he's certainly capable.
Wouldn't back against him here, Pav.
No, this one's a little further out, though.
He's going to pass it instead. He goes to the square. Fife's wrestling. Fife shepherding. McCarthy's goal.
Oh, Jared, you're all over that one. Jack Silvani complaining of a hold from Fife in the goal square, which no doubt going to look at the shepherd or the block that he put on. McCarthy, though, we talked about him all the way back in round 1 against North Melbourne. No one saw him playing in that game. Kick 5. Gets an opportunity today. I'm not sure this was a shot at goal, Jared.
Well, you know it wasn't. It was a pass.
Let's have a look at Fife from the goal line.
But that's when you know you're having a good game.
Let's have a look at Nathan Fife here.
Yeah, it looked like a jumper hold.
That's
they don't
hold,
miss too many of those.
That's a hold.
So they can feel stiff there, the Blues. Goal umpire in perfect position.
Wasn't she?
Back in the middle. Dockers out by 12 again. And they'll win it out of the middle through Blakely. Swings a quick kick in. Banfield was the target. Couple go to ground. Simpson under pressure, as was Newman. Across to Murphy. Chips the kick wide. A Superman effort from Petrescu-Seton. Couldn't hang on.
Well, they've lifted the Dockers as they needed to. And so now the question remains, given a 2-goal deficit, can the Blues just fire a couple back before three-quarter time? Crews are well on top in this ruck at the moment. Darcy really doesn't know how to handle him.
Just barrels the ball away, Cruiser. And there's a free kick up the ground. It will go the Dockers' way. Hamling will receive it.
Right now, Darcy is watching the man instead of watching the ball. And he's a big bull.
Yep.
He needs just a little bit of reprogramming because Cruiser's going to destroy him otherwise.
Wilson. Launching it long. Thomas sees it over the line.
Talk about Darcy and Cruiser matchup. Sean Darcy's actually had 27 hit-outs. Only one of them, those, gone to advantage. Cruiser, the 21, 5 to advantage. So Darcy's getting his body in reasonable shape. A couple of times Cruiser looks dominant, but none of Darcy hits, really, except for that one there.
Yeah, but he did that with a push-out.
Yeah.
I don't know why the umpires are allowing that to be legal.
But because it's wet, more stoppages, that's definitely a push.
I mean, this has been going on the whole day. It's ridiculous.
It should have been a free kick to Cruiser. We watch the rucks jostle again. Big punch forward that time by Darcy. It spills to Mundy. Wrapped up by Murphy. Taken to ground. He got the arms clear. Fife with strength. Still able to get his boot to it. Bounce here critical. It held its line.
You don't get the off break or the leg break as much in the slippery weather. She tends to go straight.
And Fremantle pressing. Ryan puts himself under a bit of pressure. A tumbling kick. Bounce important. Blakely. Hill. Back for Blakely. Wants a target. He sets it up, but Newman can get back and swallow it in defence. Has to be good with the kick. Might find the line. He had McGovern on the burst, but was just wide of him. And now it's the Blues' turn to really be under pressure to try and clear their defensive area. Cruiser to the front. Darcy tapped it down. Fisher, Murphy, Walsh running out of room. Back to Fisher. Went for the tackle. Fremantle allowed Silvani to take it away. Logue working Casbolt underneath it. Dow's got plenty of pace. Hughes went to ground. Wilson. And the players just have to get underneath the high ball. Langdon, brilliant. Didn't take his eyes off the footy. Knew the contact was coming. And he's trying to lift his side with a great mark.
Well, there's been a couple of speckies this round, but for mine, that was mark of the round for sure.
Well, fisted away by the Blues. Simpson with another spike. Spills to Silvani. He's had a good quarter. Taken by Walsh under pressure. Up to Dow. Into the legs of Fife, who skipped over the top. Langdon, Fife, Brayshaw. Fremantle can build. Brayshaw looks up. Walters on the lead. And a good spoil away.
Well, Silvani's trying to do the job on Nathan Fife at the moment. He's gone to him in the last 15 minutes. Having an outstanding start. Curnow had trouble clamping Fife, and here's Silvani's opportunity.
There's another look at that marvellous mark. Nice ear massage on the way through.
Wilson charging through. Quickly on the boot. Wearing was wanting a free kick, but it'll be a behind. The Dockers doing all the attacking late on in this third term.
Just having a look at Brennan Cox. He's continuing to improve, Pat, but I reckon if you were his personal coach, you'd get him doing all the agility stuff to get him quicker off the mark, get a little bit more electricity in his movement.
I guess it's twofold, isn't it? It's anticipating when the ball's coming. So a bit like when you're fielding in cricket, you know, on your toes, walking in. It sort of seems like he's on his heels a bit. So there's a bit of education around when the ball's about to be released. But also, I think you're right, some fitness work around that area would certainly help.
Petrescu-Seton Murphy. Casbolt taken over.
And I think all the supporters at home would see his ability. Takes a great contested mark. He's a pretty sound kick. He shows lots of potential. He's only in his second year, of course, so time to continue to develop, but there's something to work with there. But all like him to come on maybe a little quicker than he is, perhaps.
Yeah, no, he's a good find. He's a real talent.
Murphy spills through, Hill, and the tackle lingered, so they'll get out of jail a little bit there, the Blues, because Fremantle were almost away.
So here's their chance, the Blues. They've been defending steadfastly for quite some time. Can they get out?
Dockers had started to roll forward, so Carlton with a chance to try and get through.
Not many
Picked
pushing
their way
hard
with a
back.
handball. What a blind turn there by Fisher. Chips it up to Gibbons. Ryan giving chase. Strong tackle, and Gibbons gains some more metres, sends it over the line, boundary throw-in.
We've had a few forward half stoppage goals today, Carlton. Can they get another one here? Wouldn't it be great for them heading into this into the last quarter?
Certainly love a late one here, Carlton. Darcy wrestling. To win it down. Hill inventive. Newman got a hand to it as the supporter march back. Wiedering out wide to Silvani.
Well, Casbolt and Darcy are head-to-head at the moment.
Silvani sends it in. Darcy spoilt Ryan, who was going to take the uncontested mark. Wasn't to know that. Get under the pack again. Ryan under some pressure. Murphy almost.
Well, Cruiser actually ended up, as you saw, slipping in front of Darcy. And again, he put hands on the back. And it's a habit he's got to get out of because it will cost him.
Blakely, the high ball. Plowman with the size against Walters. Able to intercept. Blues can send it back in. Plowman goes long. Casbolt the target. He crashed into them. It hits the deck. Blakely got it through. Walsh. His kick went the wrong way. And Brayshaw can control it out wide. Marchbank does well.
Smart kick from Brayshaw on that occasion. He went to launch the ball and then realised mid-ball drop that, no, that's not the right kick. Carlton had a few extra players down the line, just pulled the kick to Cox's advantage, got out of play.
2 minutes till three-quarter time. Darcy the hit out. Walters crashing in. Good tackle, Curnow. Dow. Now to Plowman. Into the pocket. Wanted Kennedy, but Lowe stands tall.
Got out of jail there, the Dockers. They're getting really killed by the defensive side players at the stoppage.
An important one-on-one win by Lowe, but they off the footy straight back up to the Blues. Newman pumps it long. Cruiser in front. Controls it down. He's got Rovers there in Gibbons and Curnow. Slip tackle. Doesn't hurt Fremantle initially. Fife. Silvani right with him every step. Wearing him closely. Spills to O'Brien. Off balance. Out of bounds on the full.
Silvani's actually done a good job on Nathan Fife. But if nothing else, it's a great lesson for him as well about being that type of size, running all day, competing in the contest. He'll come out of this with a lot of lessons as well.
Are they clock running here?
I'd say so. Yeah, absolutely.
Hamling back pocket. Freo lead it by 13.
Varney blocking Fife. Got away with it. Good work.
They win it back. Newman in. Another chance here late. Fisher.
Kennedy's got Brad Hill in the goal square.
Chips it up. Couple of options. Murphy's there. And he completes the mark right on the 50. Probably too far out. He'll look for an option. Chips it over the top. Loose checking by Fremantle. And Gibbons closer to goal. Tough angle. They'll have a shot late in this third term.
I reckon it's an area Ross would be on Monday, Tuesday, really focusing on. The amount of times that Carlton have been able to get separation with those 15, 20-metre kicks. And at this critical time, this could go a long way to deciding who wins this game, this kick.
Huge kick this. A man overlooked so many times in the draft. He wants a big moment here. Oh, it's across the face and Darcy slaps it through. Ryan in quickly. And that'll see us to three-quarter time. Intriguing matchup we have in the West. There's a quarter to go. Both sides scrapping hard in that third term. Carlton searching for a big win away from home, taking it right up to Fremantle. It's the Dockers leading it by 12.
Carlton exactly the same as Fremantle, but just hasn't had the impact quite yet. The McGovern, we know he can turn it on quickly. Can he do it in this last quarter?
Well, delivery time for McGovern. He's on the big bucks. There's a lot of responsibility. Now's a chance to drag home the Blues.
Big final term in the West. Fremantle and Carlton, and it's the Blues with the clearance. They go quickly forward to Casbolt. Off hands Conker. He slapped it away. Arriving is Curnow. He chips it wide. Walsh sliding in. Couldn't take it. And Hill. Got to go back to Wilson. This will be an aggressive kick up the middle to fight. They've got the overlap now, Fremantle. Chera trying to find a target forward to the footy. He's got a one-on-one. McCarthy got rid of Jones, but Jones recovers nicely. Didn't take possession, was held on to. He played it brilliantly.
He actually got Jones out the way, didn't he, McCarthy? But couldn't get back to the ball. Pretty well defended in the end by Jones.
Go wide to Marchbank. Then on the line for Fremantle this afternoon, a win. They go game clear in the top 8. Get some separation from Port Adelaide and Essendon. The Blues have been showing plenty of fight, plenty of spirit as they try and knock some wins in the second half of the season. A turnover there from Marchbank as Blakely sends it in. Up strongly Wiedering. Tucker doing the roving. He was crunched in a tackle. Silvani had a really good third quarter, opposed to Nathan Fyfe is in under the pack.
Yeah, he did. Fyfe still had the 9 disposals, but each one of them was closely worn by Silvani. He's still with him. He's trying to get to Mark Murphy, who's with Mundy.
Darcy's hit out into the pocket, but Curnow and Simpson can work it out okay. Dangerous ball. Times it across the goals, but Setterfield was there. Now Petrevski-Seton. He really sparked the comeback in the second term.
Did well to get it out. Not enough pressure by the Dockers to lock it in.
Setterfield found some space, shares it with Walsh. And the Blues on the move. Ryan, an important touch. Kennedy able to knock it down. McGovern bombs it long. The Blues trying to get out the back. Logue, an important bounce. It spills. Dow's there, but Hill's speed. Stayed in play. Knocked back to Casbolt. Got past one, not the second. Another great effort from Logue. And Fremantle get out of danger. No! Hill overran it. And a high tackle. Free kick, Carlton.
And Brad Hill looks like he may have hurt himself as well.
They play on, and McGovern butchers the kick at goal.
Well, there's a man, I think, just down on confidence. But that was an incredible passage of play. The Dockers got out of jail 4 times there. Griffin Logue did amazingly well getting up off the deck. He was involved in a contest, and then he got up quickly to kill the next one.
The problem is both he and Brad Hill are very sore. They're looking for a trainer. They're looking for the physio.
Blakely, Matera. Fremantle try to break. The run comes from Chera. The next link is McCarthy. The overlap continues. Langdon's got plenty of pace to burn. Unguarded goal square. Launches long. And didn't get the bounce.
Yeah, it's always hard to know what to do on that occasion. He could have chipped the ball, but this is the chaos that happened here with just great pressure from both sides.
It's been an arm wrestle all day, but all of a sudden it's opened up in the last couple of minutes as they go end to end. Petrevski-Seton. Down low Kennedy. Recovers nicely. Thomas. Petrevski-Seton just treads water. Waits for an option to present. They peeled away, and he sends it up to Casbolt.
What a great kick. Brilliant composure from Petrevski-Seton. Didn't blaze away. Had 2 or 3 options and then just laid it in the path of Casbolt. Well played.
You just saw Cam McCarthy. He just didn't have the effort. He just could not find the oxygen to continue to apply the pressure. It was about his 3rd effort in a minute, so he would have been right into the pain zone.
Levi Casbolt. He's certainly got the range from here. On the outside 50. And he hooks the kick. Just sneaks it in for a behind.
Well, they're creating the opportunities. It's a question of whether or not the Blues can kick the goals when they present.
The one who is getting a bit of space out the back is Brandon Matera. He's the one that looks likely for Fremantle to get goal side at pace.
Hill's recovered as he sends that kick out wide. Marchbank kept his feet and he generates it going forward again for Carlton. Slipping over was Conker. It opens the door. Taking the contact was Kennedy. Got it out to Walsh.
Touch.
Steadies. Touched off the boot and behind any result. Good chances there for Carlton. Ryan's kick, maybe a little clever, straight up the middle. Jones right there with Brendan Cox, able to win it. High up and under ball. Drops in a dangerous spot. Ryan went back in. O'Brien hacks it. It'll spill to Silvani.
Well, Luke Ryan came charging out and trying to make amends from that terrible kick, really straight up the middle. Brad Hill getting some treatment down to the boundary line. But it was an interesting decision, almost.
Well, he did have an option too. I think it was Conker breaking wide to the other side of the ground.
Jack Silvani been running with one of the stars of the game this afternoon in Nat 5, and now he wants to punish him on the scoreboard. That went dead straight. Jack Silvani with a big finish, and the Blues close in.
This is just a fantastic performance by the Blues. They're just hanging in, they won't go away. All of a sudden, goals are appearing when potentially, in normal circumstances, it doesn't go through. Jack Silvani, though, has taken the responsibility and nailed this one. And right now, Fremantle are under siege with so much at stake for the Dockers. Great goal. What a 30 minutes he's played for his club.
Silvani having an influence. Margin back to 4. Out of the middle, clearance is crucial. Mundy getting involved. He was there alongside Fife. Ball sent forward. Banfield couldn't hang on. Matera trapped it. Did he drag it in? Umpire looking and holding the ball.
Wow. Tell you what, we did miss though. The Mundy kick was incredible. It hit him on the chest. It should have been marked.
Not sure where the prior opportunity was on that one.
Newman. That kick's shallow.
Not play, Cox.
Brendan Cox tapped it down. Mundy to Blakely. Handball set up Banfield a bit. Darcy's got it away to Mundy. Now to Tucker. Time to steady. No one in the square. And the Dockers get the answer.
Well, it's a couple of kicks outside of defensive 50 that have cost both teams, wasn't it? The Cox tap was fantastic. But Luke Ryan at one end ended up costing the goal. That occasion, a risky kick up the middle, intercepted, and it's a forward half turnover. And that's the place you want to turn over the ball. Chain of handballs, and gee, it just snuck in, didn't it?
Snicko almost had another run. Don't want anyone of that. Don't need another controversial decision at that.
Well, there was Mundy out of the middle.
I like Banfield's hands under the pump. He just relaxed and just laid it off to his teammates. Same with Darcy.
Margin back out to 10. Following that goal to Darcy Tucker. Cruiser up against Darcy. Cruiser leapt early, hit the turf hard. Darcy stood tall to get it to Blakely. And shanked his kick into the man, Petreski-Seaton. It ricochets away and it'll be locked up again.
So Blakely, who's had a lot of the ball tonight, has gone into the middle. He's turned it over a little bit by foot, but it has had plenty of the ball. He might be the one for Fremantle.
Cruiser, delightful hit out. Petreski-Seaton. Casbolt was the target. Walsh just chips it up. Waits for the runners. Fisher closing quickly. Wilson there controlling it to the boundary though. And he's happy to be tackled over.
Good forward pressure, isn't it, from Fisher? We know he's so silky with the ball in hand, but that's what his teammates would love. The chase and tackle and a creation of a forward 50 stoppage.
Well, this is where you've got to be careful, Matty Cruiser, and his flick out the back. Shallow throw in.
Darcy got a toe to it. Tucker was in underneath. Gibbons. Petreski-Seaton. Nice sidestep. Change of direction. And couldn't link up with Kennedy. It stays in play. Hamlin. Under the pump. Just hacks it out of defence. Setterfield made the contest. Thomas knocked it on. Chance here, the Blues. Walsh gave it up to Banfield. And the Dockers might get away. Conker. Matera. They've got some space. And Brad Hill is scooting onto it. Working hard is Brendan Cox. The kick fell in just a little short, but he made it look okay. Hill goes again. Banfield pushes up. Carlton have got back well. Banfield will blast it. There's a kick to the advantage of Matera. Though Marchbank with the spoil. Langdon lost it. Cruiser over it. Dumped into the turf by Tucker. McGovern got a boot on it. Spills to Setterfield, and he just barrels it, but there's no one back for the Blues. The bounce important here for Hamling. It spills almost away in Fisher. Wilson. Logue. Back for Ryan.
He did really well there, Hamlin, because that ball was spinning not on its normal axis, and it would have been really tough to control.
Fremantle happy to chip it up to Wilson. Darcy off the ground looking a little sore.
Yeah, he's just clutching at that right shoulder. He's just made his way to the bench. He's in a bit of pain here, so he's just getting some medical attention at the minute. That could be a big advantage for Carlton with Matthew Cruiser dominating the ruck as it is.
So who goes into the ruck here? It'd be Cox pushes up.
Yeah, spot on. He's heading there right now. As we see, was it elbow? Potentially. But you're right. Cox is the one who Cruiser would have a great advantage over.
Looks like they're trying to treat that elbow of Sean Darcy. So they'll be a little undersized in the ruck. To the finish here, perhaps Fremantle. The Blues have been down a man virtually all day. That one sent forward towards Banfield, but Marchbank again with a spoil sees it out. 12 minutes to go. 10-point lead in favour of the home side. They've faced a significant challenge after quarter time. Cruiser wins it down. Bewley trying to strip it away. Fife keeps it in. Handball to a dangerous spot. Matera crafty in these situations. Still over the top of it. Marchbank emerges and just dropped the footy in the end. It still stays in the field of play. He's touched off the boot of Bewley. Thomas waits underneath. Fife with courage. Trying to hack it out of there is Wiedering. That's a dangerous ball. Walsh almost. Brad Hill on the spot. He just goes up and under. They camp underneath. Fife almost took it. Brayshaw in there. Matera tried to poach it. Did it go into his legs almost? Thomas went sliding in. Here's Setterfield trying to clear it. That's up and under for McGovern, who finally find the boundary line. No easy possession out there just at the minute.
No, right now the fast break is what Ross Lyon would be really concerned about as much as he would scoring the goal, because everybody is up within about 70 metres of the Freo goal. Just starting to drift back a little bit now.
Fife copping a knock there. Brendan Cox. Handball to Tucker. Immediately wrapped up.
Connor Blakely up to 29 disposals. The most he's had since his hamstring, or returning from that bad hamstring injury early in the year.
Silvani fighting hard. Petrevski-Seaton tackled by a few.
Interesting positioning, just watching Lockie O'Brien with Brad Hill. Hill's just playing a little bit defensive of this stoppage, which means, I guess it's a Russian roulette situation, but it's in their forward line. I think it's a better position there.
Petrevski-Seaton. At the top of it, Blakely. Still scrapping. Curnow able to clear it. Kennedy wrestling with Conker. Spills down to Casbolt. Ball towards the boundary. Kennedy spunning the tackle. And a throw is the call.
He's been a good acquisition for the Dockers, Reece Conker. Given them another midfield option. He can play in the half-back line, play in the high-forward line.
Conker's kick to Tucker and Fife. Silvani wasn't aware of the tackler. And Swifty Switkowski chases him down.
Oh, Swifty.
He's trying to get it back to you.
Wasn't aware he was lurking behind him. And Switkowski wins the free kick. He'll load it away to Logue. Inside 50. Big pack. He'll crash in. Curnow. Plowman. Tumbling a kick out of defence. Kennedy has to work hard to get there. Conker right with him. And holding free kick.
So close here, the Dogs. I reckon they need to see one more and the game's over. But right now, if Carlton get the next, she's a cliffhanger.
Well, it's a good switch. A really good switch. Thomas is out.
Newman. That's a half back. Here goes Thomas. He wanted to step inside Hill, who wasn't buying it. He still crafted a kick to O'Brien. He launches to half forward. Hamling in best spot. He'll turn back inboard. He's got some support. Goes around the body with a kick. Bounce. Tough one for Tucker. He'll just knock it up in the air. Hughes able to get the arms clear. Ryan. And back to the safety of Wilson.
Yeah, a good solid 9-metre kick back. Pretty lucky, really. I mean, they called play on. They got a Carlton player sweating on him.
10-point ball game, 9 minutes to play. Darcy's back out there. There was holding going on. Wiedering was being held by Banfield, who was trying to create some space for Darcy.
This is an amazing effort from Carlton when you think they've come into this game without Cripps. They lost Charlie Curnow in the first 15 minutes with a knee injury. Done for the day. They've played a man short from that point forward. Without Harry Mackay, the game's #1 contested marker. This is an absolutely unbelievable effort from this 21 players.
They've challenged the Dockers since the quarter-time break. Nat Fyfe has fought hard all afternoon.
The skipper for Carlton today, Ed Curnow, he's been huge. 14 clearances amongst 29 disposals. That's what you want from your leaders when you've got a couple of important players out.
Owen on Petrescu's seat.
Casbolt, good body work in the ruck. Conker taken to ground, strong enough to get a kick away, and it's paid a mark to Petrescu-Seton. Did ever so well to take it down low.
He's running by himself at the moment. No one putting any time into him. He's the danger man.
Plenty of it as disposal number 21, and he's cramping a little. Petrescu-Seton. Here's Thomas. This time he gets the sidestep he wanted. He sends a high ball in. Hamling up. We dropped the mark. Fisher. Handball over the top. Kennedy. Setterfield. Hamling in there. Bewley dives on top of it. Ball up. Dangerous spot here for the Blues.
Certainly is, particularly with Casbolt. Darcy's back out there.
One down by Casbolt. Hamling spikes it straight to Walsh. On the boot, but wide.
That is really dangerous. It's just Russian roulette stuff. If you knock the ball into space like that over your head, you're inviting trouble.
9 points to the margin. Walsh up to 29 disposals. A young man in his first season. Langdon with a high ball out of defence. Jones with a big leap. And haven't they welcomed him back this afternoon? He darts the kick in. It was great delivery to Dow, who played on. He has to go. Not aware of it. Got a Shepherd. Good tackle by Switkowski. Another chased out. And he wins the free kick, and the Dockers are on the burst. The Blues are about to shoot at the goal. Now Fremantle on the turnover. We've got a man out. McCarthy into space. He waits for some options. Sends it in. Walters. The turnover costly. They had the mark inside 50, the Blues, and the Dockers sweep it up the ground.
A number of players are going across to Switkowski for his chase and tackle. It's 2 this quarter, and that's what he's in the team for. What about the kick from McCarthy as well?
This is the kick, though. Hasn't failed so far this year when this challenge has been put in front of him.
Having his career best season, Michael Walters. His numbers up right across the board, but it's been his finishing. It's been spectacular this season. He loves the big moments, and he kicks a big goal in the final quarter.
Shelling peas, Pat. Just shelling peas.
He loves the big moments, Sonny Walters. Had started the game on fire with 10 disposals and a goal in the first quarter. He's only added 1 more goal and 7 touches since quarter time, so he's been out of the game. There was the play on. There's the chase and tackle from Switkowski. So good at that. And then it was smart ball use. Firstly, the handball from Cox. Mundy summed it up beautifully. And check out this kick. How about this for a kick? 1 step, bang.
She's good vision to pick that up under that sort of pressure and deliver. And there is the mailman.
He always delivers, Michael Walters. And back in the middle, the Dockers out by 15.
They need a quick response here.
Yep.
I mean, it's unlikely from this position, but a quick response, and all of a sudden the pressure goes right back on.
Curnow wins it away again. Murphy heard the voice of O'Brien and found him. The Blues will go forward. A clever kick to Gibbons. Chera made sure to hold him up. To get back on the mark now, Gibbons searches for an option. too much movement inside 50. So he heads to the goal square. McGovern knocked down. Murphy off the step. And Switkowski arrives again on the spot. Sneaking up from behind. Hughes at the outside of the boot. That's a bad error.
The players in that rule, Pav, they just cannot get it through their minds that you can just let the ball roll through. Under pressure.
Cade Simpson will be able to open up the angle here. Big kick for the veteran. Cade Simpson won this season. He opens it up and finishes nicely, and the Blues are right in it.
Well, we said there was still time, and there certainly is. 5.5 minutes left on the clock. All they need is some clean ball throughout the middle of the ground, which has been a bit of a strength for the Blues all day, getting enough of the clearances. And there was the opportunity for Ethan Hughes to run it across the line, Jared.
Yeah, he could have done a number of things there, and the one thing he didn't want to do was what he did, but plenty of time to think about that during the week.
Cade Simpson with a big goal late on in this game. Didn't he enjoy it?
Pretty important centre clearance, this one, Pav. Good clean ball deep inside their forward 50, Carlton, and there'll be some nervous dockers.
Curnow now with 15 clearances in the game, continuing to rack them up, having a big influence in the middle. Murphy gets it across to Curnow this time, carried forward by Mundy. Hill couldn't hold on to it. Clever by Murphy with the boot. Fife in to win it. Away to Mundy. Quick ball to half forward. Knocked away from Brendan Cox. Simpson arrives. And around the body. Out towards Newman. If the ball stays in play, they could be away here, the Blues. And he feeds it back. Marchbank. Curnow. Newman. Up to the 50. It's delightful delivery. Onto the chest of Petrevski-Seton. 5 minutes to play. 9-point lead to Fremantle. Petrevski-Seton changed his mind. Then launches long. But it came up short, off hands, and behind.
What about some of the skills from the Blues?
No, it's been impressive. As we've said a few times, they've come in without two of their stars. Obviously, one of them started, but only played a minute or three. They are pushing a side that if they win this game, clear inside the 8.
Wilson out to half back, but it's going to come straight back. Newman chips it up. And Kennedy.
It was a kick to a 2-on-1. Nathan Wilson decided to go to Cox, who was outnumbered. A few of his teammates looking at him saying, maybe another option. What a kick this is.
The Blues, who surged late in games, their last couple. They almost snatched a win against the Dogs last week. They're surging again here. Kennedy launches a big kick. A huge goal for Carlton. It is game on.
Well, fantastic fight back by the Blues, and they might be the mighty Blues at the end of this quarter with just 4 minutes of play remaining. There's a massive centre clearance. They've done well, particularly Cruiser. He's just flipping it out the back to the defensive side, and he's getting plenty of success with that. They need to cover that, the Dockers, but they have got all the momentum right now, the Blues.
9 all out of the centre today. And the clearance here, so critical. 9 all. As we have a look at how important this is for Fremantle in terms of their top 8 hopes.
It's the live ladder as it stands. They draw level here with the Crows.
Warning.
The Power and the Bombers just behind them. Out of the middle. 4 minutes to go. The Blues get another clearance. Up to the 50. Walsh trying to control it. He slipped past Wilson. Got a kick forward. Hughes got to take it away off the outside of the boot. Dangerous. Fife knocked it down. Good work from Fisher. O'Brien crunched. Switkowski got him. Fife there. Switkowski's kick to space. Big ball to win here. Brennan Cox up to meet it. Tackled by Marchbank. Spills to O'Brien. Hill in there as well. Through the legs it goes. Threatens to be locked up here. They pile in on top. And we'll get a ball up with 3 minutes 35 on the clock.
Well, Nat Fife has done a power of work, but he's going to need a couple of others to support him in this last 4 minutes.
2-point ball game. This is a massive moment in Fremantle's season. Carlton have thrown down the challenge and they're pressing hard late in the game. Ball over the line. And a push free kick to Carlton. It'll go to Marchbank. Crowd not happy.
They've got an extra number as well, the Blues. Liam Jones is the one they're trying to get the ball to. Fremantle have done pretty well to defend it.
Up over 20 disposals now, Marchbank. Huge leap, unrealistic. Nope, Mark paid. Cruiser will take it. McGovern left early. But Cruiser's got it, and he's had a significant influence on the game.
Mark Murphy's the one that's getting a lot of space every time this ball goes inside 50. Nearly snapped a goal a moment ago. He's the concern.
Here's Simpson. Sidesteps Brennan Cox. Launches it inside 50. Hamling a big spoil. An important fist to the line. Just over 3 minutes to go.
You can see Murphy. He sniffs a goal here. He's looking at the ruckman Cruiser. Let me get on the end of it. Where do I go? Can I block someone?
Darcy wrestling. The hit out down. Langdon's kick. Trying to get it out of the danger area, but O'Brien intercepts the mark. So many players forward of the footy. There's some pushing and shoving going on. They send it back in. Off hands out the back. Daisy Thomas! On the spot. It's Daisy and Carlton hit the front.
And they just kept busting their guts the whole day. And right now, they're 2.5 minutes away from a famous victory.
Incredible performance as Daisy Thomas sprints off the ground. It's obviously his rotation. Loitering by himself at the top of the square. The ball gets over the back on a wet day, and he does the rest. Can Fremantle respond now? So there's Connor Blakely, David Mundy and Nat Fyfe in the middle. And they're up against Silvani, Curnow and Murphy.
And the clock.
No Cripps, no Curnow, no Mackay. And Carlton have the lead late at Optus Stadium. Fremantle now fighting. They'll take it out of the middle. Fyfe will send it long. Michael Walters has been the man late in games for the Doctors so far this season. Couldn't get near at that time.
Well, you had two key forwards just deep inside the forward 50, not wanting to come up with the ball.
Yeah, you've got to play the ball as you see it. No point putting your hands in the air. He couldn't get the ball around the corner.
Marchbank long off the hands of Cruiser. Petreski Seaton tumbles it forward. Ryan trying to control it. Shared it with Hamling. Played it nicely. The Dockers try to reload. Wilson with a high ball. They camp underneath it. Cruiser wrestling. Spills out the back. Simpson. He'll go high. Back up the wing again. Chera underneath it. Casbolt made the contest. Logue feeds it back. Hamling blazes away. Falls in short. Plowman.
I think that's the terminology. No need to blaze away now. Still time on the clock for both teams to keep a cool head. Lots of pressure out there, but a cool mind will work.
The Blues by 4. Long ball forward. Chera. Blakely. Chera trying to generate some run. Hill's the man to do just that. They get the overlap from Hughes. He goes wide to Matera, who just is able to gobble it up.
Mundy's a free man. They're going to stay wide.
He wants to go long to Michael Walters. Not that time. Brennan Cox. McCarthy. He's been deadly, and that's an excellent pass. Walters, no free kick. Switkowski. Dockers back in front.
What a game this one is, Pav, and what a game has Switkowski had.
What about the last quarter? A couple of unbelievable chasing tackles to smother. Ross Lyon can't believe it. And then this contest from Walters was a beauty. And then he gets back up McCarthy. Well, he's used the ball magnificently all day. No free kick there, fair enough. Switkowski takes his moment. Another critical centre square bounce.
Well, Sam Switkowski hadn't hit the scoreboard in his last 5 games, and he comes up with a huge goal late in this one.
I reckon they've got to go man-to-man here, the Dockers, because Cruiser has dominated out the back.
A minute to go. Silvani pushed out. hacks it forward. Hughes got a boot on it. Setterfield gives chase. He'll arrive first. Shares with Curnow. Hacked forward by the Blues. It rolls wide. Walsh can't keep it alive. Out of play, 50 seconds to go.
What do Fremantle do now? Not really at the stoppage, but more behind the play. Do they swarm numbers back?
Well, they're all back
forwards?
now.
Yep.
But it's the control kick as well. No point winning the clearance, kicking it straight back to Carlton.
Huge stoppage here. Out the back, Murphy kept it moving forward. Gibbons hacks it. Off hands, Casbolt. And he's wrestling, he's trying to take them all on. Fisher, clever, Murphy, the veteran, the sidestep, the banana! Mark Murphy to try and win it for the Blues at the death. They swamped the veteran. Remarkable goal late.
Well, it was one of the great balks. The inside move, then the banana. Superb finish to a guy who's just had a cracking day. Let's have a look at it unfold.
Well, came for a stoppage again, did it? There's Murphy right there at the cold face of the stoppage. Casbolt does well to get it out, and then a smart tap on. And what about this? Oh.
How about that from Mark Murphy to give his side the lead again?
And they've got an extra number in the defence, I think.
Oh, is this going to be a free kick?
Well, the 6-6-6.
No, it's only 6. They're calling for someone to come in.
31 seconds to go. Multiple lead changes late here. Can Fremantle fight back yet again? Fife flicks it up. Hill was cruising past. Gibbons right with him. Still trying to work it forward. Curnow's been brilliant all day. Murphy out wide, and that will almost do it. McGovern's got the footy. The Blues have suffered so much heartbreak over recent seasons. They've got a renewed spirit at the moment. And they cause a huge upset in the West. The Blues with a big victory by 4 points at Optus Stadium.